Welcome to Business Coaching Secrets with Bryan. If you want to attract new high-end coaching clients, fill live events, and build a wildly profitable coaching practice where business owners pay, stay, and refer, you've come to the right place. In this podcast, Karl provides his keys to the kingdom for finding and signing high-paying clients and building the coaching business of your dreams. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, coaches around the world, welcome to another episode of Business Coaching Secrets. It's your boy, the Road Dog, with none other than the man, the myth, the Madonna-loving legend, Bryan, coming at you, folks. Big shooter, what is happening?
Shoots. Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Went surfing this morning and went over a little baby shark. So there you go. You know what I did? Actually, so I went over a baby shark who was with mommy. And I get it. You know the rule. I've said it literally here, right? When you go over a shark, what don't you do? You don't go for a second look, right? So 101 of the ocean. Well, what did I do? I turned around. I'm like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And of course, I can't find him on the way back. So I turned around. I'm coming over. And if you know, look, so it's mommy and baby, right? So if ever there was a shark, you probably want to stay clear of. I'm pretty sure it's this one. But anyways, went over mommy and baby this morning. Little baby. See how tiny this shark was? It's amazing. It's awesome. But there you go. So
were you singing Baby Shark as you were going? No.
Buddy, you know my daughter and I, so we used to play that. So I used to push her. She was way too big to be in the stroller, but I'd put her in the stroller, take her for a walk, and she'd fall asleep. And then I just pick her up and put her in her bed. Just made life easy for everybody, and I got a walk. But that's the song that I would play over and over. It's literally like 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes or something on YouTube, and I would just play it over and over and over again so she'd fall asleep. So yeah, no, I didn't, but there you go. Well done.
There you go. Okay, so I'm nervous to even ask. You were left to your own devices last episode. Like what? Like, do I want to know what was going on? Like, or was it just you singing Madonna, Papa Don't Preach? Like, what was happening last week? What did I miss?
Papa Don't. That's the song, by the way. I was trying to think of a song, and that was exactly.
I texted you the video for it after the podcast last week of the actual music video. So I'm sure you watched that 50 times since then.
I did. Shoots. I did. What I did say, and I got this text to me a couple of times by Craig Vetter, being one of our good friends and avid listener, that Miss Landori's got 12 kids, so she knows how to multiply. It was a math question. So that was my joke.
As I'm sure Mr. Vetter would say, she probably spent a lot of time at stretch camp. So there you go.
Oh, jeez. Okay, let's keep. You know, one thing I did want to say, though, before we get going, rest in peace, Mr. Kerwin Ray. Yes. This one hits hard, man. And I know, Road Dog, we've talked about it already. I spoke to a very close mutual friend of ours who's spoken, like, he had spoken to his mom literally the day after. He called me and he was just, he wanted the, we were just kind of chatting about it, and just some of which shared ain't going to get shared here, nor is it ever going to get shared. But it's just like heartbreaking. And I just will tell you, somebody like a Kerwin Ray commits suicide, it is one word, and that one word is identity. And I just say, hug your loved ones. Just hug your loved ones, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, and maybe worth noting is some great advice that I got from none other than Mr. Kerwin Ray, who was a big dog on social, millions and millions of downloads, followers, etc. And went a little bit like this. So again, he's a monster on social. And if you don't know who he is, might be worth a search and listen to some of his better stuff, because it's very, very good. One of his last interviews was him talking about being suicidal and having suicidal thoughts that he'd never had in his life, that were very, very new to him, and how that he, was dealing with them and how he got through it, etc. Really heartwarming, and incredibly valuable, a lot of what he shared, because again, he's an incredibly smart guy. It might be worth having a look. But anyway, some info. It looked a little bit like this. Number one, talking about just kicking butt on social. Number one is just get started, and perfection's going to stop it from starting. I'm horrifically paraphrasing here, by the way. But that was like number one, you got to get going. Number two, consistency is critical. So once you do get going, you've got to be, you're going to post once a week, post once a week. If you're going to post twice a week, post twice a week. If you're going to post every day, post every day. But don't go every day, once a week, every day, one, you know what I mean? Sporadic, that's subconsciously not good for your audience. No doubt anybody listening to this, business coaches, would get that. So consistency is critical. Don't reinvent the wheel. Find top performing bids and put your spin on it. Okay, really important. Don't reinvent the wheel, Karl. Find top performing bids and put your spin on it. Next, it was script from start to finish. Do not freestyle. Your audience on social, they deserve better than having you go on tangent, right? And then just, spewing, left, right, and center. But, and again, paraphrasing horrifically here, but, freestyling is not the frame. At a minimum, you need to have a frame, and you deliver that by a freestyle, but not freestyling the frame and the content and the topic, etc., which I think you guys know what I'm talking about in terms of, the influencer out there just going off on a damn 10-minute tangent that doesn't make any sense and have any direction. I think that's a bad use of time for you and, more importantly, them. Quality over quantity all day long. An example that I would give you is Mr. Beast talks about, if you do a video and it's 10% better, you'll get like 5x the views, right? So you don't get 10% more views, you get 5x the number of views by doing a quality video. So again, spewing out stuff left, right, and center. By the way, that might work, and Gary Vaynerchuk might disagree with that. But the advice here was quality over quantity. And if you look at Kerwin Ray's content, you'll see that he had really, really good, transitions. And it was like him on stage, and it's him in the office, and him doing this. And it's really that they're good videos. Again, Mr. Beast would give him a thumbs up. And it's like, Karl, you built an 8-figure coaching business and you've been doing this for 15 plus years. Others have not. Use your experience, use your expertise, use your documented results to stand above the others in truth. Okay, so again, just going to your experience, going to truth. You just, go at it like, what are you good at? What are you passionate about? What do you have experience about or with? Standing on it. And then when using social, it's not about reinventing the wheel via content. It's give them reminders versus learning new stuff, right? Like 3 words that have personally cost me millions of dollars: new, next, more, right? The amount of money it costs you is unbelievable. So think of a professional athlete. A professional athlete falls into a slump. They don't go, okay, you know what, man? Look, you've been left-handed for ages, right? It's a baseball player. Look, you've been left-handed since you were a kid. Look, this is not going well. You haven't had a hit in 5 games straight. You got to start hitting right-handed. You got to go to the other side of the plate. Or you've been hitting home runs your entire life. You know what? We got to get you to start bunting. You got to bunt, right? I know you're slow as molasses, but my God, just bunt and run to first. Obviously, that's not the advice that they're going to get. What do? Guys making $20, $30 million a year to play baseball. He falls into a slump. They watch film. They show him film of them being successful. They show him film broken down and slowed down, of the right things that they're doing. Like basically they go to the fundamentals is what I'm getting at, right? The professional athlete, you are no different. Your client is no different. They don't need, to be learning new things. They need reminders that resonate. Things like goal setting, things like time management, things like 80-20. Anyway, that's not to say you can't do, put new content out there, but, reminder would be a better frame than new things. So maybe it's an 80-20, 20% new, new material, new things that they might not have heard of, And then 80% is the fundamentals. So anyway, so there you go. That's a little bit of a framework for social, but may Kerwin Ray rest in peace. You done good, man, and rest peacefully, brother.
Yeah, that was a tough one. You texted me right away just the other day when that happened. I was just shocked. That's all I can say. I was shocked by that. So, and I'm going to say, you mentioned the identity piece with it, and I know that Tony Robbins talks a lot about this, how a lot of people, like, look, we're in a tough economy, and it seems as if it's going to be getting pretty tough out there, like harder than ever. And a lot of people, as Tony always says, attach their identity to their business. And if your business fails, they identify themselves as a failure, and that's not the case, right? So
totally.
that's
yes.
So
yeah, Rhoda, what I'd say to that is when a guy meets a girl, his buddies say, "What does she look like?" And when a girl meets a guy, her buddies say, "What does he do?" The reality is that translation, that society put an incredible amount of, what do I want to say? I don't, pressure is not the word I'm looking for, but you know what I mean? Like credence, a lot of what you do as a man for a job and an income goes a long way on your worth in the eyes of other people. And that can be good. And that could be something you embrace. It could also be something that you find very, very challenging in times when things are not going so well. I just know, Road Dog, I've felt that right in my career. I've had, I've been very fortunate, very, very fortunate, had a great run over, the better part of 2 decades. But there have been pockets, and I'd be crazy to say anything other, where I didn't ride that roller coaster. I've been lied to, cheated on, stolen from. I mean, recently I've had, not even going to go into it, right? But just gobsmackingly disgraceful, illegal behavior in every sense of the word. And and you just got to dust yourself off a little bit. Nobody's getting out alive. Can't take things too seriously. And I've, as I have ridden that roller coaster of being up and being down. And I just know that when I'm down, when things are not going well, like you got the Midas touch and you feel amazing, and then you feel the exact opposite, and it is just a horrific feeling. So to the entrepreneurs out there, be careful to attach too much. Like I said, if a male, masculine male, we'll call it, especially an alpha male, commit suicide, it comes down to one word: identity. That's my brother with 16 years old. He was 23 with 100% certainty, had identity written all over it. So anywho, shoots, that's my, there you go.
It is interesting because what you're saying here, where my mind is racing right now to try and find the right words, is I have a feeling, without us having ever discussed it, in terms of the latest activities, if you will, that have sort of thrown you into a bit of a spin cycle. I'm pretty sure it's the same individual as previous, where I remember you and I were sitting at the pub and you were like, "I swear to God, I'm going to go down to his house," and like you were hot. And look at you now, Shoots, which then this is the perfect segue. The Zen master has found his Zen, and he no longer wants to punch people in the throat. He's now actually maintaining and controlling his anger, and he is at peace, folks. That's KB. So KB, give us your Zen thought of the day.
Oh, Shoots, segue. That's right, though. I remember that, man. That is, I was getting in my car, and that was good. You know what I mean? It was going to be, look, there's certain hills you're willing to die on, and that was a hill that I was willing to die on in that moment with 100% certainty. Anywho, but to each their own. And you know what? Karma is a bitch. It is a bitch. So when people lie, cheat, steal, they get what's coming to them. But anyway, so Zen thought. Again, I should have known this was coming, Shoots. Politics. Politics is front and center right now, right? There's a pretty important, in many parts of the world, by the way, there's some elections going on. But politics, the whole thing is designed to choose someone you probably don't want running the country or the state or like the city, right? It's the people that would say, I'd never get involved in politics, that you would actually want to be running for politics, that you would want to be your politician, right? The people that apply are like narcissistic lunatics with ridiculous predictability, right? You wouldn't want them running your Christmas party, let alone the country. In many cases, not taking a shot at any one person, any one party. Again, I am good. You do what you do, but letting it take over. The person that gets elected to be, the elected official is not going to affect your business more than 5%, right? It is just you getting up in the morning and going to work and providing value, doing what you need to do and following through and, delivering significantly, to significantly more than what you're getting paid for, and asking for referrals and running events and looking to, having marketing that impacts, a huge number of people, and then taking on a select few clients through that huge amount of people. Do you know what I mean? Like putting good marketing out there that actually helps people. Like we talked about Kerwin Ray earlier. You watch his marketing, you watch his videos. I mean, the guy was amazing. I love this stuff. Anyway, so getting a little, but it's like the police, right? I have close friends who are cops, by the way, quite a few of them. And I'll just say this, and I've said it to each of them, but the person who is attracted to carrying out order, it's likely the person that you don't want providing order for, your community, your city, what have you, right? And it's like, the person that's attracted to it may, and by the way, and that doesn't mean to say that there's not some fantastic folks wearing, the blue, but I think you could also agree that there's some folks it generally speaking, it would, it's just, it could be a little bit of a slippery slope. I'm going to leave that there. And not to mention, shoots, like people have all kinds of fears, right? Like they're not enough, having fear taken away. Like those are the two greatest fears by a long way, right? As you get older, like, loud noises and falling when you're a baby, like those are the instant fears that you have. But the, not being enough and having love taken away, or maybe it's the fear of losing your job. Maybe it's the fear of losing your business, losing your clients. Maybe it's losing your health, right? Which obviously would be understandable. But your greatest fear should be what? And I sent this in an email actually recently, and it's like, your greatest fear should be not living a life that you're proud of, not living a life that you're enjoying. Your greatest fear should be not living an amazing life. And that's not an amazing life by my standards or Road Dog standards. That's an amazing life by your standards, right? People are just, they major in minors. Is that what I'm trying to say? They major in minors, and they should be minoring in, or they minor in majors and they're majoring in minors, right? And I don't think that's the pattern that you want to be following, right? I also said in an email, it was in a PS or something like that. It's like, tell me what you need and I'll tell you how to get along without it, right? Like it's part of my own Zen kind of journey. It's like, if I were to put two words on it, it's surrender over control. And then I would just take surrender and I would bold it. I would italicize it. I would enlarge it, underline it. It's just surrender over control. And that said, remember the poorest people in the world, like the poorest countries in the world, are the most religious. Okay, so before I just surrender over control, that's not to say you just, whatever will be, whatever's meant to be will be. I do not believe in that. What I believe in is waking up in the morning, controlling what you can control, going to work, providing value, finding things you're passionate about, finding things that you're good at, finding things that you can naturally and organically provide value to the individuals or the group or the, maybe it's the city, maybe it's the state, maybe it's the, the nation, maybe it's the world. Really, you know what I mean? But damn well waking up and working your butt off. Don't come away from that. But that said, like, okay, so here it is. It's like my daughter, very, very proud. She got the lead in the school play, right? So like she's going to be Willy Wonka. And we practiced, and you could imagine, if I said to her, baby, do you want this part? She said yes. You can imagine every kid in the school wanted this part. I said, baby, do I have permission to push? She said yes. I said, baby, are you going to remember that when you don't want to be pushed? She said yes. Okay, so guess what? We practiced that play. Yeah, like when she does, like she's learning how to do a front flip. I won't allow her to do one flip, or something. I don't allow her, right? But I encourage her very strongly to do 10 in a row. Right, so we're doing backflip. She got to do 10 in a row. That's how I believe that's a repetition is the mother of skill. If you want to learn how to do a front flip, do 10 in a row, not one and then go get a drink and then one and then go get a drink. It's like learning how to speak French. Drop yourself into Paris and order a coffee. That's the way to learn French, not to go for an hour a week, right? Well, we practice that thing. And again, guess what? We would do it 10 times in a row. We do it over and over and over. She got the part, but she went to school and she knew that she was going to find out who got the part. And what I said to her, I said, baby, did you do your best? She said yes. I said, did you practice at a level that you're very proud to say that you practiced, to the point where you almost couldn't have practiced anymore? She said yes. I said, do you believe that in your heart? She said yes. I said, you cannot control the outcome. The teacher, there's other people that will decide who is Willy Wonka. You will not. But you did your best, and I always want you to know that. So if you don't get it, we've got to hold on to that, not the outcome. Well, yes, she ended up getting it, which was awesome, but I'm still there going, it's the effort, right? So translation, Road Dog, you and I talk about running the live event. We literally said this in the show, you and I were chatting back and forth. You can't control how many people come to the event. You can control how many people you contact to come to the event, right? You can't control whether or not they buy. You can control how much you practice your presentation prior to the event, right? So anyway, surrender over control. I say that, but I say that cautiously, that I don't, you know what I mean? For anybody listening, I wouldn't want for that to all of a sudden be, oh, what will be, will be. No, I don't believe in that. Luck favors those who are prepared, and preparation, is going to favor those who just get freaking after it, right? Like what is luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Is that it? I think there should be the word action in there as well. But anyways, so there you go, shoot. Surrender over control, but I hope you agree with what I just said, and controlling the effort as opposed to the outcome.
You mentioned also somewhere in there, just in terms of just pursuing sort of happiness and whatever else. That doesn't mean going on like a 3-day bender in Vegas. You know what I mean? Like it's also
could be a lot of fun.
How many people aren't even clear on what they want, like in terms of their life, right? Like that's the part that's mind bending to me, is if we go down that tangent of just how few people actually have looked at and go, well, what would bring me happiness? This is something I'm going back through right now, shoots, if you believe it or not. I have my old CD player, and I'm going through the Time of Your Life, RPM, Rapid Planning Method with Tony Robbins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh my God.
So
beauty.
It's so fun though. Like I love it, because it's like, okay, well, where do I want to be, right? And then creating that 10-year sort of vision of where I want to be and what does that look like, and then reverse engineering it. And then, as you and I discussed pre-show, building my marathon plan, right? Like if I know the work I need to do, I'm going to get her done. And a lot of people, and I find myself in that at times, where it's like I just feel lost and confused. And that's where mentors come in. That's where coaches come in. That's where that guidance comes in. That's where you as coaches can go out and help those people that don't know what the next step is that they need to take. But sometimes, like, don't show them the whole staircase, just show them the next step, because otherwise you'll just create overwhelm. So speaking of overwhelm, you're talking about politics. And I agree with you on the politics side, because right now, obviously in Canada, we have a guy that I wouldn't even trust to make a sandwich for me. Like how would, and I'm being generous, like I wouldn't trust this guy to press the crosswalk button for me to cross the street. Like it's unbelievable. How would you handle politics? What's your method?
I'd stay the hell away. Does that sound?
Yep,
no, okay. The way people need to be, like, it should be the public nominating the person to be nominated, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It's like the top 30 under 30. You can't put your hand up, or what was I was put up for the top 40 under 40 or something, it was some time ago, like a long time ago, right? And it was like I got an email all of a sudden that I had been nominated. I didn't put my hand up and say, hey, I want to be a top 40 under 40 guy. You know what I mean? So it's the people that will nominate themselves that I don't think you want to be running the show, right? Like, again, the person super keen to carry out order is possibly the person that you don't want carrying out order. And of course, there's anomalies, and there's, you know what I mean? Take all this with a grain of salt, for heaven. I'm picturing the email, the abusive email coming my way. But anyways, like in Israel, right? Like, you automatically have to go into the army. You don't have a choice, right? You got to serve 2 years, the end. And by the way, the system itself, it works very, very well. If we did that with the police force, everybody's got to serve 2 years. If we did that with politics, everybody's got to serve 2 years of public service. I don't know that that's the answer, by the way. That might get a little bit messy. I think that would be good for the police force, certainly the army, but it's a proven model. But you know what I mean? Like, it's the people that put their hand up. You need people to put your hand up. You need people to put your name forward, and a significant number of people to put your name forward, right? Follow? That's and again, shoots, what I would do is steer bloody clear, because I don't want to pretend like I'm the politics guy. You know it much better than
I. Top 40 under 40, was that still to your Yahoo email, or how did that go? Come on, shoot. That's been a hot minute since that happened, so let's be honest about it. I want to talk about shifting gears, detachment, and I'm going to put, while you're gathering yourself there, I'm going to put my spin on this for a second. and sort of tie in the politics side. So I am just about done serving my term as the president of the Kelowna Youth Soccer Club. Let me tell you, I will never want to do that again, because the amount of politics in youth sports is absolutely disgusting. The amount of people that say the right things, that they're in it for the kids, and then you watch them. Like, there's 2 board members right now where I'm like, you guys talk a good game, you put the blinders on for everybody else, the smoke show that they don't see what you're really up to. But when you actually closely look at the actions that they take, it's disgusting. They're only after it for themselves. And that's where this last weekend, as I was telling you before, we were marshalling and doing the whole thing for the U11 and U12 kids year-end wrap-up tournaments, right? They're jamborees. And you know what? When you take a step back from not just a club perspective, and you take a look and detach yourself from the club, and you just look at the whole thing as here's just a bunch of kids having fun playing soccer. How beautiful is that? And the problem is, people can't detach themselves from their own ego and from their own needs and desires, I guess, for whatever it is, be it significance and feeling important, whatever it is, to look at it and go, wow, it's just a bunch of kids playing soccer. And that's what it's all about. And I don't care, as I've always said, what the badge or the color of the jersey is. I just care that you continue to play. But in regards to detachment, because you talk about detachment and the importance of it a lot, do you have a process or something that just makes it easier? Like, because again, it's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah. The question, what's the question? So
detachment, do you have a process, something to make it
easier? So what does Buddha say? All misery comes from attachment. So probably pretty good idea. So it's like the detachment is like the frame of Buddhism. It's like, you don't want to be happy. You want to be happier than others, right? You don't want to be rich. You want to be richer than the people you know. You don't want to have freedom. You want to be more free than the other people. You don't want to have a better car. You want to have a better car than the people that you know, the people on your street, than your neighbors, right? So, be careful with that. What did I just say? Remember, we used to want to keep up with the Joneses, and now we're trying to keep up with the Kardashians. I don't know who said that, actually. Somebody said that as a famous quote, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so good, right? But it's no longer the Joneses. It's the Kardashians. Just like avoid delusion or unnecessary worry. 90% of worry happens in between your ears, not in the real world, not in reality. It happens in between your ears, right? And reminds me, shoot, something I have on a post-it note on my computer in my office, and it says availability heuristic, and it's like people are more fearful of a terrorist attack than they are of a car accident. Okay, like think of the insanity of that, right? They're more fearful of a plane crashing than their car crashing. Again, percentage-wise, hopefully I don't need to fill in the blanks there, right? But there's one to be worried about, and not to mention, shoots, you and I, Road Dog, like we're one chicken nugget away from dying an unnecessary death from choking, right? Translation, the reason that you and I will die, like third is on the hit list right now, right? So again, when you're eating dinner, you're eating your steak, worry about that. Don't be worried about the terrorist attack, because why would you be worried about the terrorist attack? Because that's the kind of thing that's on the news, right? Not to mention heart attacks wipe men out, and for the most part they're totally and wholly avoidable, but you got to eat right, and then you got to take the afternoon off to get your ticker checked before the ambulance ride. And by the way, shoots, I got to say this, I get some my daily, I do my daily joke in my email, and I sent out, so the worst thing that happened, so Dangerous Dave was talking to my drunk aunt, and she was like, what's the worst thing, Christmas time, it can be horrific for people, right? And he's like, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you? And she said, oh, we were playing charades as a family, and my dad had a heart attack. And we were all cheering him because he was so into it. Like, oh my God, brutal, shoots. Anyway, I thought that was very funny, shoots. That was very funny. Anyway, back to detachment. So, okay.
Hang on, didn't you say karma's a bitch? I'm not laughing at heart attacks. Not happening. Not happening.
Oh, like, at least and my wife, I always read my wife my jokes, right? And like do it, well, my dad as well. My dad doesn't, like, I laugh when I'm telling my dad, but when I tell my wife, I'm just like cacking myself. And my daughter, all right, although I don't tell her the funky ones like this one. But anyways, I start laughing. They're just shake their head, because I laugh harder than anybody. Anywho, look, let me continue here. Detachment. Okay, if you were to avoid detachment, like it's not, I don't have like a framework or anything, but I would tell you this: self-awareness. You got to do an audit of your attachments, which I would dare say that you haven't actually done, and that would be a really, really good idea, right? Like again, and it might be some funky stuff. It's your political viewpoints could be one of your attachments, probably is. Your your belief, conspiracy theorists, 9/11, was it an inside job? Was it not an inside job? Look, you have your opinion, and that's great. And I've got my opinion, by the way. But you know what I mean? If you have a differing opinion than me, that doesn't mean that we can't be friends. That doesn't mean that I can't speak to you. That doesn't mean that I'm going to spend the next half hour giving you, an education on what I believe at 9/11. You know what I mean? So, it might be your gray hair, right? Your dark hair and you're going gray. That could be your attachment, right? It's your hair, you're going bald, and you've got issues with that, right? So anyway, so self-awareness. So it's not just your car, and it's not just the toys and the Sea-Doo and the holiday, etc. It could be some, like your political opinions, as an example. My father may or may not be guilty of that one, where I'm like, Dad, you got to chill, man. Nobody cares, right? Don't refer to people as Republicans and Democrats, Dad. That's just not acceptable. Not acceptable. Anyways, gratitude would be another one. If you want detachment, right, you got to be grateful for what you have in the present moment, right? Like, Road Dog, you are never going to be younger than you are at this particular moment, right here, right now, as I speak. Nor am I, right? So again, you might as well bloody enjoy it, right? And one person's 30, the other person's 50, and somebody else is 70, right? So anyway, so like versus, you know what I mean? What you got versus what you lack, what you desire, what others have. That lack desire thing. Like, again, you don't want to be, you don't have a better car. You want to have a better car than your neighbors, right? Think about that. Does anybody really, really care? That new car smell, I promise you, that new car smell, very expensive, and debatably insanity. You can buy a really nice BMW, a really nice Mercedes, a really nice, I mean, Toyota for that matter, really nice Jeep, 4 years old. Somebody looked after it and do really, really well and save yourself a lot, tens of thousands of dollars. I suggest you do. Or not, by the way. There's a debate to say buying that brand new car will then jack you up and make you more motivated, make you, an inch taller, make you, 10 pounds stronger, your shoulders an inch wider, etc. So anyway, there's that. Look, okay, I said it earlier about my daughter and, getting the play, like, again, at the end of the day, there's plenty of kids that could have got it. You know what I mean? I'm very grateful that she did. She's obviously very, very grateful, very, very happy, but that outcome was, she could only control the journey, the effort, the training that she put into it. She couldn't, if someone else was earmarked and just hell-bent on the other one getting it, they would have got it. Would that have lessened, what would that have done to my daughter's confidence? And the question is, and the answer is a lot or a little, right? And by attaching to the outcome, the number of clients, the number of revenue, you control the number of calls you do for your live event. You control the presentation that you deliver, the jokes that you deliver, the opening, the middle, the end, the close, the PowerPoint slides that you put together. Control that, right? Like Charlie Munger says, the secret to a great life is low expectations. Again, that's not his exact wording, but that's definitely come out of Charlie Munger's mouth many, many a times. You don't know who Charlie Munger is. The late, great Charlie Munger passed away at 99. God bless him. Just a genius of a man. The OG of mental models, I would dare say. What else shoots? Mindfulness. Just practice being present in the moment. I've talked about, like, I go for a walk on the beach and I try to be present. I go on my eFoil and I got this thing where I listen to I listen to presentations, and I've got basically YouTube going in my ears, like recorded stuff in my ears as I'm on my eFoil. And you know what? Like, even like this morning when I went, nope, not doing it. I'm going to be present. I'm going to, one of the things I love to do is look, again, I see stingrays and I see dolphins and I see turtles and I see all kinds, all kinds of awesome, there's all kinds of awesome stuff for me to be able to see below me. And I said, you know what? It's going to be me, the water, and the animals today. I'm not bringing this thing, right? So look, Christmas is coming up. Not to timestamp this thing, but let me tell you, I've written this on my Facebook profile the last few Christmases, and I'll write it this Christmas. I would imagine the greatest gift, the greatest present that you can give your family is your presence. Be present. And by the way, if you want to slow, what do you say at the end of Christmas? Oh my God, it went so fast. The only way that I know of to slow down time, and there is no way to slow down time, but this is a solution in my opinion, be present. The more present you are, the more, just be present, so hopefully that Christmas coming, do that. Thanksgiving around the corner as well, same thing, be present. But observe your thoughts and your emotions around judgment. I would dare say that I don't know that you could get a better way to get out of the future, the past, than, getting away from your emotions and getting away from your judgment. And shoots, the last thing that I would say, and again, there's probably so much more I could go for. And again, I could, if you studied Buddhism or Buddha, I'm sure that they could give you incredible frameworks. But I'm going to say the last one is impermanence. Everything is temporary, right? Everything is ever changing, right? That clock, you're not stopping it, not happening. Everything is temporary. So what Arthur Brooks would say is make yourself small. How do you do that? Read Stoicism could be one way to do it. At night, lay down, stare up at the stars, pray to God, pray to, look to the universe and ask it for direction, or, you know what I mean? Just be, one with, when you think about the universe, what does it do? It's got to make you small, right? When you pray to God, I think that makes you small. When you stare up at the stars, I think that makes you small, right? So just, chill, maybe just, relax. I said not long ago, I wrote myself a letter, to my future self, what it would say? Be very, very short, and it would say, relax, mate, you made it. Relax, mate, you made it. Right? And maybe shoot you before I throw it back. One like an exercise for detachment. I remember saying this some time ago. Like make a list of things you want. Okay, it's a holiday, it's a car, it's a house, it's a promotion, it's a raise, it's a new client, it's this, that, or the other. Right? Um, let's assume what I just listed were tangible things. The car, right, as an example. Well, and again, things like, yeah, I don't want to give you tell me, make a list of things that you want. Needs to be your list, not my list, not Road Dog's list. Make a list of things that you want. And then after you've written, I want you to write down 3 reasons why you don't need each of them. And that's not to say you're not going to get them. It's not to say you're not going to, drive for these things. But remember, freedom ultimately is what you're looking for. Road Dog's looking for. Your clients are looking for. It's like a very wise man said, I have something you'll never have, enough. It's just detachment for me. It says that, needing nothing attracts everything. So that might be a good exercise. Make a list of things you want and then write 3 reasons why you don't need them. And that's not to say that you're not going to push, and that's not to say you're not going to get them. But you know what? Let's make it let's be softer and more gentle on ourselves. That's my answer, Shoots. How'd I do? What do you think?
Yeah, that'll work. That'll detach you, that's for sure. By sort of not needing it. It's sort of like the whole I know we're on this kick of like I'm still reeling, dude, from the Kerwin Ray thing, and it's just like we put on so much in terms of we attach ourselves to too many things and we want too much and all that stuff, right? It's pretty interesting. But instead of maybe, and again, if anyone is struggling, if you're anxious, you're whatever, you can't be anxious and have gratitude at the same time. So definitely take a look at that. Have some gratitude. Take a look at the things that are going right in your life and the things that are going well and do that. So
yeah. The root of anxiety, Shoots, the root of anxiety is feeling unsafe. So again, if you feel anxious, you don't feel safe. So then the reverse engineer that, you go, what do you need in your life to feel safe? Make a list of those things and you'll be able to find the root of your anxiety with high percentage of probability.
I read a good one too that said, if you're kind of in a whatever situation you're in and it's bringing you some sort of anxiety, find what's the good that can come from this. And just look for the positive. And then that just removes it going, oh, wow, this is actually good for me. Right. So that's an interesting perspective as well. Hey, I was going to ask if you said something about, maybe buy the car if it makes you feel, if it makes you grow an inch. Like, is that why you have a 6-car garage, or how does that work? Is that what it is? I don't know.
The peanut gallery, ladies and gentlemen, the peanut gallery.
This is how the short jokes are back, folks. I know everybody missed them. So let's make sure that we keep Karl in his place. And there you go. All right, pull up the extra step to get him up to the podium, and we're ready to roll, folks. Okay, close us out, bud. Like, give us the one thing that you think. Like, I feel like it's kind of a heavy episode, where is at times here. So, what's one thing that you're going to pull out that somebody can take from today's episode and implement? I'd say beyond their business, but into their life. And yeah, what's that for you today?
Shoot, you know what I think we should do? We should send some people to, I think everybody should go watch a Kerwin Ray video. And what he liked to do was light a candle. So whenever somebody passed, he would light a candle. So what his mother has asked, and those close to him have asked, that you light a candle in his memory. And by the way, Kerwin, he had some health issues, to be clear. So again, it was, there's just anyway, so he's got so much great content out there. And again, I just, the guy is just he was a weapon in our space. He did some amazing stuff. And I just, I just want him to rest peacefully and eternally. And I think what he would like is for us to close it off and say, you know what, go watch a Kerwin Ray video. And there are lots of them. And I'm going to tell you that there's probably not a one that I don't think you're going to get a little bit of value out. So that's what I want to close with, Shoots, if that's okay.
100%. And I can't top that. That is 100% it right there. So thanks for tuning in, everybody, to another episode of Business Coaching Secrets with none other than the man himself, the eFoil King, King Karl. If you're not on the inside, if you're not getting access to the pre-show, and if you want information how to grow and scale your coaching practice, or maybe you're looking to escape the 9 to 5 and looking to become a business coach, go to focus.com. Okay. Just do yourself that favor and go there today. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it. Because again, we're trying to maximize our reach and our impact as well. And if you can like, share, do all those things, obviously it ranks us higher, and that way we can have a greater impact ourselves. And that is it for another week. We will see everybody on the next episode. Remember, don't attach too much identity to anything that you do. And always remember that progress equals happiness. Take care, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode.
Karl Bryan built Profit Acceleration Software 2.0. So as a business coach, you'll never again have to worry about working with business owners that can't afford your high-end coaching fees. Check us out at focused.com.